Welcome to the budget tutorial for the Civil Society Innovation Fund. The purpose of this tutorial is to provide consortia applying for the fund with guidance on how the budget template can be completed and altered in line with your proposed project budget. Here on the first page, instructions for how to use the budget template are provided. We suggest that applying consortia read both the introduction and instructions for use very carefully. We will now move on to the second page, Budget Overview. This page provides you with an overview of the total amount of your proposed budget, based on the information you have provided in the third, fourth, fifth, and sixth budget sheets. This overview will also provide you with information of the percentage of the budget that each section currently comprises. Currently, this is at 0% for each budget area, as we have yet to fill out the sections. Very important to note is that the administrative costs cannot exceed 10% of the budget, while activities targeting new and emerging CSOs outside of the consortium should comprise a minimum of 20% of the budget. This section cannot be altered manually and is instead calculated automatically based on information you have provided in other sections of the budget. On this sheet, you should enter all administrative costs related to the project. To note is that the definition of what should be considered administrative expenses is provided in the green section here, and primarily relates to overhead costs not directly linked to the implementation of the project. Please note that as per AFD procedures, these costs cannot exceed over 10% of the total grant budget. We're now going to fill in a number of these budget lines to provide you with an indication of the types of costs that are foreseen to be covered in the administrative section. If you need additional rows past the 24 rows here, you can insert a new row. You can do so by right-clicking on a row here and pressing Insert. Please note that once you have done this, it is extremely important that you copy and paste the formula that calculates the total cost of each item for all 3 years in the relevant column. This is the grey column here. You can do so by right-clicking on the cell above or below and pressing Copy. Once you have done so, please go to the cell in question, right-click, and press Paste. Once you have completed the budget line items in this sheet, the total amount of administrative costs are displayed here in the top right corner. Similarly, the total percentage of this part of the budget in relation to other budget components is displayed here. Currently, there are no other items completed, and so the total amount displayed is 100%. However, as the other sheets are completed, this amount should be reduced. On the fourth sheet, consortia applicants should enter operational support costs. To note is that all consortia applicants are required to place in project audit costs in this section. It is currently recommended that approximately 1% of the total project costs are entered. For example, for a €500,000 project, we recommend a total of €5,000 is placed for audit costs. In the other budget lines, applicants should provide specifications for project support costs for each year of the project. For example, Project Manager, Project Lead Institute, €4,000, Year 1, Year 2, Year 3, 50% of salary of Project Manager staff for 3 years. Financial Management, Project Lead Institute, and so on. As with the sheet before, if you need an additional budget line past the 17 here, you will need to insert a new row. You can do so once more by clicking on the row here and pressing Insert. Please know that once you have done this, it is extremely important that you copy and paste the formula that calculates the total cost of each item. Do so by clicking copy, and again, right-click, paste. The total percentage of this part of the budget in relation to the other budget components is displayed here, as is the total cost. On the fifth sheet, consortia applying for a grant should enter in activity costs for project activities implemented by the consortium. We have subdivided the sections into groupings of activities, work streams, or components to provide grantees with more oversight regarding how much each grouping of activities costs. Relatedly, we suggest that proposed activities are grouped together in some manner so that the total cost for each grouping of activities is easier to determine for the reader. In this section, we ask the applicant to provide a description of the activity to be undertaken. As an example here, I will write, developing a human rights monitoring app for the purpose of helping citizens report to civil society on human rights infringements that occur. In the row below, the applicant should list which of the consortium partners will lead this activity. Here, I will write Consortium Partner 3. As with previous sheets, costing for expenditure items related to the activity should be developed. For example, here I'll write, hiring of app developer maintenance, first year costs €2,000, year 2, €1,000, year 3, €1,000, with justification. Human rights specialists, first year costs €3,000. Justification, hiring of HR specialists to develop content for the app. Consortium should complete as many of the sections as required until all of the activities in the consortium proposal are fully costed. Other possible costs related to an activity, such as travel, accommodation, and workshop hire, can be placed within the lines here. As with the other sheets, it is possible to add additional rows here. To remember is the importance of copy and pasting the formula in the grey columns, which provides the total cost of the activity over 3 years. On the sixth and final sheet, consortia applying for a grant should enter in activity costs for project activities implemented by the consortium targeting new and emerging CSOs outside of the consortium. As with the previous sheet, we have subdivided the sections into groupings of activities, work streams, or components to provide both applicants and the AFD more oversight regarding how much each grouping of activities costs. In this section, we also ask the applicant to provide a description of the activity to be undertaken. As an example here, I have written, providing training to new and emerging CSOs in human rights monitoring. Under the partner the activity will be led by, I have written Consortium Partner 2. Here you can see I've costed a human rights specialist at $1,500 in year 2 to provide training, as well as accommodation and travel costs. In the next grouping of activities, I will place in the description development of a sub-granting program for unregistered CSOs for the purpose of achieving formal registration with AXO and scaling up activities. The project partner will be the PLI who leads this activity. The sub-grant at €30,000 each year is listed as a fixed cost with justification listed as seed funding towards new and emerging CSOs. As with the other sheets, the total cost of this section is provided here in the top right corner. Similarly, the percentage of the total budget is automatically calculated. Before concluding, I would like to quickly turn back to Sheet 2, Budget Overview. Here we can see that, based on the information I have entered into the other sheets, the total cost of the proposed budget and the percentage split is provided to me. Thank you very much for watching. If you have additional questions, please feel free to contact us. Our contact information is made available on the fund website, csinnovationfund.org.